I think there may be a strong chance I've found the best irons of 2023, and spoiler alert, they're not Callaway, they're not TaylorMade, they're not Ping, and they're not even Mizuno. Hi everyone, my name is James Robinson, welcome to this YouTube channel. Today I have the Tour Edge Exotics 723 Pro irons. Now these things honestly look absolutely stunning. They are to die for. They are the perfect style of tradition which meets technology, which meets a little bit of help, but they are also designed to look absolutely gorgeous. You see guys, these Tour Edge Exotics irons are born from requests from their PGA Tour staff, and they are designed for player-shaped forgiveness, which for me is pretty much everything most golfers would want. Yes, you want a forgiving iron, but you also want it to look gorgeous. If you weigh those two factors up, this is generally where you are going to land. I keep showing you close-ups of this because I'm going to just face it, this is a lot more better looking than I am. It also reminds me of the old school TaylorMade RAC irons. Who remembers those? And guys, each club head has had over an hour of precise milling to make sure these clubs are exactly what they should be. I'm going to talk through the tech in a second, but that felt absolutely stunning. It honestly did. Guys, I'm going to jump in the studio a little bit later on with these clubs to show you just how they perform for numbers, distance, spin rates and all the rest. But if I can stand to a 5-iron and get that strike so early on a winter's day, I'm going to be one happy golfer. Guys, would you try these irons? Would you buy these irons? Get in the comments below and let me know. And how good do you honestly think they look? But I'm going to be honest, I enjoyed that much. I'm going to have to hit some more of these 5-irons. I'm going to play a few holes with these guys and we are going to test them for numbers, so don't go anywhere. That felt really good. And again, yes please, one more, go on then. I know. Get on with the video, James, but when you find something that feels this good, you almost don't want to stop hitting them. Even that one was skinny and that one wasn't bad either. Right, let's move on. You see guys, I almost enjoyed that final shot a little bit more, the skinny one, because these are designed to look good, but they're also designed, there we go, to be forgiving. They're designed for the everyday golfer, and the fact that that last one has gone the same distance as the first one, for me, is quite remarkable. Let's get these irons in the bag. Let's be fair, they have quite a lot of bag appeal as well, don't they? That's one thing which I think irons have to have nowadays. They look absolutely gorgeous, don't they? Right, it's okay them looking good, time to talk tech. Because you see guys, good looking golf clubs are one thing, but we all know that realistically tech makes the world go round, doesn't it? Technology in golf clubs is something which is coming on leaps and bounds, and it's helping us play better golf. It's the first time I've heard the birds out this year, and it's a beautiful sound, isn't it? Right. As you can see, 3 shots up there. The final one wasn't the best one. I probably did rush it a little bit, but very similar distances on all 3 of those shots. And that's one thing which I really hope happens when we jump in the studio and test these golf clubs. I want consistency from these. They can't say these are Tour-inspired forgiving irons if they're not very consistent, if the spin rates don't match up, and if they just aren't as workable or as playable as you would like. Now, an hour of milling going into each head, that's quite impressive. That really does make sure that the clubs feel like they should, they feel nice. It also makes sure they kind of should perform fairly consistently as well. Now these are obviously a cavity back iron, and they're not just any standard cavity back iron, if I can get this off. They are a VibraCore cavity back iron. So these cavity backs are filled with VibraCore technology. I think that's how you do pronounce it. And that is designed, again, to help these irons just feel a little bit better. We also have that plate at the back there, which is behind the sweet spot. That's designed again just to enhance a little bit of kind of performance there. This pitching wedge looks gorgeous down at the ball. We've got 115 yards into the wind. This should be a nice little knockdown shot for me. I'm really enjoying the grips and shafts in these as well. I've got a Lampkin 360 standard crossline grip and Dynamic Gold 105 S300 shaft that stood the test of time for God knows how long. You see, it's a really funny thing for me because you don't really hear much of Tour Edge Exotics here in the UK, but I know just how big they are in the US. Don't know why people don't test them as much here. Maybe it's availability. Oh, that felt. These honestly feel like there's a thud behind the ball. They don't feel like you're clipping them. They don't feel like They just feel different to almost anything else I've tested this year. I'm gonna give that a clean actually, but it almost feels like a more, I don't know, a more pleasing strike. It's filling me more of confidence, feeling like I'm more of a ball striker than maybe I am. Look at that. I felt like that was diggy. The divot would suggest it's diggy, but again, a lovely ball flight. The ball flight wasn't too low. Obviously, it's wet conditions today. We're cleaning these quite a lot. Certainly not letting me down. Let's see if I can play a slightly lower one in a little bit less steep. I mean, they're exactly the same. Luckily, the divots are in the same place as well. Almost need a JCB to bring all these back, but I quite like that. I quite like that I can be aggressive down into the ball and get the results that I want. You can go there, you can go there, and you are as good as new. Now you see, to a tight right flag that's over a bunker, not really a shot you're going to attack. But again, consistency-wise, we can pretty much throw a blanket over all of those, which is exactly what I would be hoping for from irons like this. I want consistency, I want to know how far they go. From there, I can sort of tailor my game to that and play much more consistent golf. And you see, guys, what I really like about what Tour Edge are saying about these clubs is every bit of technology in there. Yes, it's to help performance a little bit, but it's also to enhance the feel, to enhance that sound, to enhance the experience of hitting these clubs, which I think sometimes does go amiss with some of the other big name brands when talking about performance irons. So we've tested the long irons, we've tested the pitching wedge, now it's time to test the mid iron into a par 3. Then we're going to jump in the studio and just test to see how these clubs do really perform. You see, I really like the sole as well. It's a slightly thicker sole than you will see on some clubs, but remember, these are designed to be forgiving as well as kind of players designed. We've got 150 uphill into the wind. This should just be a nice 7 iron, hopefully. Can we? Oh, be good. Be good, be good, be good. We've not had one this year. Go. Oh, that's close. Go in, go in, go in. Oh, it's still going. Oh my God, I think that's slipped out. Honestly, my heart is going like this. Like that landed, can you see it from up here? It landed long, and I think you can't see it for that ridge. It might go, oh no, it's there, look. Oh, James. James. And when I talk about experiences with golf clubs, that's exactly what I mean. That felt fantastic. It sounded lovely. And again, just a nice kind of shallow turf interaction. There is a van that's stuck there. I might go and help him in a bit, but we need to finish this video. Come on. Funny how with the longer irons, the turf interaction's a lot more subtle, which I do quite like. That is some strike, by the way. Really is, and you just know it's going the distance. Like sometimes you might be a little bit worried on this hole if the ball does get to a certain height because the wind is always up there seemingly, but with these not so much. It just feels like it's going to get through the wind, it's going to go the distance. Guys, let's jump in the studio, let's see just how these golf clubs do perform, then let's jump out here for one last crack at this par 3. So I think it's fair to say I was probably more excited to get these Tour Edge Exotics irons into the studio than I would be with most irons, purely because I love the way they feel, I love the way they sounded, and if they could perform numbers-wise as good as anything else, then they could well be some of the best irons that I have tested. And fair to say they did perform quite well. I hit quite a lot of shots close on the simulator, as you can see here. Numbers-wise, which we're going to talk through in a second, pretty good as well. So I tested a mid-iron and a long iron, just to see what the differences were, just to see how much forgiveness I potentially got, and just to see how much ball speed and distance I could generate while still generating a decent amount of spin to have the control on these irons. And I really did hit some nice shots in here, even with some pretty average golf swings. So you can see 7-iron wise, quite a decent carry of 169 with only 4-yard standard deviation, which is pretty good, and the 5-iron carrying at 198, which again is a huge carry for me with a 5-iron. But the big thing there is the standard deviation was just 2 yards, and if you look at the dispersions, the 5-iron flared a tiny bit to the right, but that standard deviation, along with 5,100 spin and over 6,000 with the 7-iron spin, was absolutely fantastic for me. Right, I don't know what those numbers were because I've not done them yet, but one more go. Come on. Heart rate's still up from the first attempt. Again, it's just a lovely ball flight. It's a tiny bit right, but I know they're all going to be flag high, which for me is vital. Let's go up there and let's see just how close that first attempt really was. And for anyone that's wondered, I think he's given up. He's gone. Okay, that's disappointing. Interestingly, it just looked like it was going towards the flag. It was actually long. You can see where it's pitched there and rolled back. Very, very consistent, very, very similar distances. And I quite like that. I quite like that I've got a consistency, and even into the wind, these clubs are performing like I would want them to. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Smash that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.